Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Monday, December 19th, 2022. We are still here in Crystal Lake. We haven't left yet for Iowa for the holidays. We'll be heading there soon. We just wanted to give ourselves here a couple extra days to make sure we're tip-top healthy and not going to spread anything to any other family members. And also, some family members are sick too, so we just want to give them a chance to not spread anything to us and, keep holiday sicknesses to a minimum. Because even though both my daughter and I have been testing negative for several days and we've retested and we're still negative, she's just been a little bit like congested still. She's had this congestion thing for like a month. And like the past couple of days, it seems to have gotten worse. So we just want to give that a little bit more time to kind of like resolve itself. So we're still here. But the good news is that means that today I get to show you guys this meat-free luncheon burger style, 100% plant-based. It's a Spam-like product. We're going to try it today. I've already cooked it into a dish. I've got some Spam kimchi fried rice here, made in the weird way that I like to make it. So it smells really good in here. It just smells like fried rice in here right now. But we're also going to, just because like opening this thing up was so strange, I'm going to show you guys what it looks like opening it up. And I'm also going to just eat some, I guess raw is not the right word, but it's cold straight out of the can as well. So we'll try it both ways. But first, let's say hi to everyone listening in on the podcast on the audio only version. Those of you guys going out there for your runs, hopefully you're staying warm because it is cold out there. I went up for a run. It was about 10 degrees Fahrenheit, it says, but like, I think it said it was actually a little bit more than that. But yeah, my face was cold. I had like beard sickles all the way through. So face was definitely frozen like solid. And my hand warmers, I had a not hot hands warmer. And normally I'm just like, they're all the same. You know, get a no-name brand. That's fine, whatever you can pick up. This other kind that I had was not good. And it made my hands like all like dirty by the end. They were all like, it looked like I had been like digging my hands through mud. Like they were all just there's like black and just a little bit like grubby at the end. So that was weird. And so I was very cold. Hopefully you guys are staying warmer. Everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, hopefully you had food for dinner already, because otherwise I'm pretty sure this is going to make you very hungry by the time I'm done eating all this food. So before we dig into the food, let's see who we got in the chat. We've got Mace Windex here. He says, did you try the Saucony idling? I'm not sure what that means. I don't know if that's like a pun or a joke. I don't think that there's a shoe called idling from Saucony. So you're going to have to be more specific, Mace. Runner Will says, hello, everyone. Hope you're all having an amazing day. Trying to fight this flu that is going around. Dude, everyone is sick. Like everything's going around. I even had my flu shot and my COVID booster the same day. But like I had some sort of cold like for a while. And then I was still able to kind of run through it. I felt fine. I just had a cough for a long time. And then later on, months later, I ran CIM and then came home with something else. So be careful out there, guys. I was listening to Rambling Runner podcast. They do the For the Love of the Run series with Carolyn Sue. And they did unpopular opinions yesterday. And one of hers was that people should still be masking. And I'm in agreement with her. If you're in a crowded indoor space, even though I did not do a great job of that after CIM, maybe it's a cautionary tale. But, when I'm on the airplane, even when I'm in stores, I've been doing that still. Like me and my wife were like the only ones still doing it. Although I'm seeing a lot more of that even here out in McHenry County. Even at like the Walmart, I'm not the only one anymore. So anyway, Will, hopefully you're... you get healthy soon. Mace wants to know, where can I buy this luncheon? I had to search for it. So after the other day, we talked about vegan Spam on the live stream, and I was like, I got to find this stuff. I looked around for it, and the only place I could find it was like some website that looked kind of sketchy. And I was like, I'm not sure. But I put in an order for 4 of them. And then coincidentally, it seems like one of our bank cards got hacked, but it was not the card that I used. So I think it was just a coincidence. But anyway, it was a weird random site that sells like all sorts of like vegan products and stuff, and like whole food products and like keto powders and all sorts of weird stuff. Yeah, so here it is. It's called CPG Unmeat. I think that's the name of the product. It's meat-free. Unmeat, meat-free. I mean, like, for a plant-based product, they sure put the word meat in here a lot. Unmeat, meat-free, burger style. I don't know, lots of stuff going on in here. It's egg-free, and it's a source of fiber, no preservatives added. I'm just reading off the back of the package now. Main ingredients, water, and then non-GMO soy protein, palm olein, O-L-E-I-N, which makes me very nervous. I don't know what that is. And then seasonings, natural flavors, potato starch for a thickener, modified vegetable gum. I don't know what that is either. Wheat, it has gluten and fiber. Soy sauce, and then yeast extract, red yeast, rice powder, vinegar, and potassium salt. It's a product of the Philippines. Manufactured for Century Pacific North America Enterprise, Inc. That's probably what the CP stands for. Out of Glendale, California. So there you go. That's it. All right. Lucas H has a good question, though. I'm getting really hungry, so I'm going to have to start eating this stuff soon. I want to eat the fried rice first, but I want to show you guys the raw product itself. But here's a good question. Lucas says, for flights for running, I'm looking to get my flight for Boston Marathon. I know it's months away, but do you know if the Kofuzi Run Club Shakeout will be Saturday or Sunday? I don't know. And at first I'm like, of course, Saturday. But I forgot that Boston is a Monday race. So I'm not sure. I think I might do it Saturday because I have a feeling like everyone's going to do stuff on Sunday. And I don't want you guys to have to like pick. So if you guys are going to come in Saturday, let's do it Saturday. Should we plan on Saturday? What do you guys think about that? Let me scroll down to the bottom. See if you guys have any like, yeah. Let's see. Anyone have a strong? Let me know. Let me know if you guys have a strong preference on Saturday, Sunday. But if we don't, so that people can just kind of know, I'm probably going to get there like Thursday night, so I could be there all day Friday. So maybe there'll be 2 events, because I'm going to not want to go for a run on Friday anyway, So, let's plan on Saturday. JC says I'll be there late Saturday. Sean says yes Saturday. Eliza says Saturday would be awesome, so I could do the local TARC race since I don't run Boston. Okay. Matthew Equinero says Saturday. Stevie76 says Saturday at 11:59 p.m. Okay. Frank says, I think Sunday will be easier for me. Haven't made my travel plans yet. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm not going with a brand. I'm just going on my own. So, like, I don't have anyone that I have to, like, run things by, at least at this point. But I know I'm going to want to go to a lot of other brand stuff. And I have a feeling most of that stuff's going to be on Sunday. So, like, I'm sure I'll still be able to see you guys at places. I'll let you guys know where I'm going to be so we can see each other still on Sunday. But in terms of, like, a group that we could do, maybe we could do one, I'm thinking Saturday. Shannon says, I was planning on coming on Saturday next time. I'll come on Friday so we could do Kofuzi on Saturday, Shannon says, and then I believe in the run / rabbit on Sunday. Is it going to be a double shakeout run day for you, Shannon? I think it probably won't. Will be me. And Dominic says, why not 2? Yeah, I just don't want to like clog up the calendar too much because I know lots of brands will be doing stuff. So I think I'll do one event, probably be pretty low key unless we do figure out some brand to work with, which I'm sure we could. So at least that'll like, if we do that, here's the thing. If we do that, then there could be like bag drop, a place to hang out, rather than like just meet in front of the Sitco sign or something like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but like I think we'll do one Saturday and then like I'm going to go to other people's shakeouts, So that's what I'm thinking. Michael Haney says, thanks for the recommendation on the Gore R5 Infinium. 24 degrees with a technical tee was perfect. It's so light. Yeah, that thing can take you to 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Maybe you want a long sleeve like merino layer under that at that temperature, but yeah, like if you're especially if you're working, if you're running a little bit harder, that jacket will take care of you. It's like Infinium is the Gore-Tex or the windproofing, and then the Polar Tech Alpha is the insulation that's on that. Like both of those are very lightweight, very efficient. They don't feel like it's going to be enough jacket, but it always is, Adam says like, hey, stake your tent. Can't avoid all conflicts. Well, I mean, I'm calling it now. Saturday. We'll do it Saturday. Probably 10. Should we do 10? Is that a good time? Are we planning now? Saturday at 10. Shannon says, last time, Believe in the Run did it with Asics, and whoops, forgot Tracksmith's shop and Shakeout was literally next door at the same time. There are hundreds of Type A runners on Newbury trying to shake it out. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's going to be, that's probably what's going to happen. So if we do Saturday, I feel like we avoid some of that. Oliver says, what about a shakeout for Houston? Yeah, I got to get on that. I booked a flight. I'm trying to think. My wife has a lot of hotel points, so she usually does my hotel booking for me. Not because I'm delegating that to a woman, but just because she has the points. I guess I could just ask her for her like login and stuff. But anyway, so I have a flight booked. Still have heard zero word from Houston, the race, as to my request for media credentials. Not even a no. A no would be great, but just not even in a response. But I'll be there. So let's talk about a shakeout. Let's do that. We'll do that Saturday, probably 10 a.m. I like 10. I used to do it really early because then it was like, you got to get up early, get ready for how early you have to wake up for the marathon and stuff. But I just feel like 10 is easier for people. So, yeah. Martha says that the number of pop-ups and shakeouts in Boston made it an insanely fun weekend. I know. It's just like you get to see everyone It's a great thing. All right. Let's get to this. All right. So it's a can of meat. And I will try to recreate like my initial kind of reactions to the product as I opened it. I mean, the first time I experienced the product was like 30 minutes ago as I was making their fried rice. But you pop the top and then you pull it back. And as soon as you do, you are greeted by an aroma that can only be described as pet food. So like my dog, Buddy, when he had him, he would always get really stressed out anytime we traveled. He gets stressed out if we left him and we didn't travel with us. He gets stressed out if you travel with us. He would just get stressed out if we ever moved anywhere. And whenever we got to Grandma's house, like he wouldn't eat for like the entire time he was there because he was just so messed up. So we started getting, because he would need his dry food. So we would get him like the tiny dog. It's got like a little like terrier on it in like a Superman cape. That stuff, he loved that stuff. And this smells exactly like it. I mean, it's basically just smells like pet food. And it is, it looks like, I want to say it looks like Spam, but it does not look like Spam. The color is completely different. But it has that same kind of texture to it. And it also has that same kind of like fat layer on top of it too. So here's what we'll try to do. So you guys can see it. I'll try to squeeze it out onto the plate. Let's see. Oh, here we go. There we go. In all of its glory, CPG unmeat, luncheon meat, burger style, whatever the words are on it. It doesn't jiggle as much as Spam does. It's very dense. But what I will tell you is when you slice it, and it's kind of like, it kind of reminds me of a can of cranberry sauce, which I do love cranberry sauce from the can. I like regular cranberry sauce too, but like from the can, it's very unusual. But what I think is strange about it is like, what is all this stuff that's in here? Like there's like chunks of something, It kind of, I don't know. Like, if you told me that this was a really expensive like German delicacy and it's made out of like wild boar cheeks and something like that, I would look at this and say, I believe you. Or if you told me this was like a new kind of Spam or dog food or cat food, I would believe you. Yeah, Martha says it's like head cheese. Kurt Steve said it's like cat food. Michael Haney says, never ask what the chunks are. Let's see, where'd it go? This was a fun one. Dominic Spernowski says, that looked like an unboxing of an Apple product. What kind of Apple products are you getting? Oh my goodness. Thomas Wen says, at least there is a jelly-like substance on there. Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're really trying to mimic the original product experience. All right. I've got a nice end piece. It's got a lot of that jelly-like substance on the back. Cheers, guys. This is what I do for you. You're pretty good. I like this a lot. What does it taste like? It tastes like pork sausage to me. It tastes like a good pork sausage. I find it very hard to believe that this isn't meat. Like if I bit into something and someone was like, "Hey, I made this. I know you're kind of vegetarian. I made this for you. I'm pretty sure there's no meat in it." I'd be like, you put pork in there." That's tasty. Smells aside. Ben just says, when it was out of focus, it looked like it was being censored. Oh my goodness. All right, let's switch over. This is my veggie fried rice. Rice, a bag of frozen mixed vegetables, some kimchi, soy sauce, rice wine vinegar, some gochujang, which is a Korean red bean paste, a fried egg, toasted sesame oil to finish, and I also like ketchup in mine. There's also a lot of kimchi in here too. I just put it in. I put it in cold. Some people fry up the kimchi. I forgot, so I'm putting it in cold, which is how I usually do it like half the time. So we'll give this a good stir. We'll go for it. I like put it up in the chunks, you know. I sliced the can of unmeat into the vegan spam. I mean, it's not a spam product, so like that's a trade name, so they can't use that. But yeah. My wife was like, when I bought this, I like started giggling when I opened the package, and my wife's like, "What is that? Why did you get it?" I'm like, "I don't know. We talked about vegan spam, and I felt like eating spam, and I don't eat spam anymore. So I wanted to find if there's an alternative. So I found it, and I bought 4 cans of it." All right. So I got a nice piece here. I got a little bit of kimchi. I got a fried egg. Cheers. This is really nice. I have a giant pan of it upstairs too. I'm definitely going to attack more of it later. This is really good, guys. Adam says, "I will not eat it in a box. I will not eat it with a fox." I don't know. You're missing out, Adam. This one's pretty good. Terry said, "This is exactly what I had for dinner, except I did not have an egg." Weird. Oh, and now unspam either? Phew. This is good. I like it. And it says, "At least the bowl looked like food." This is pretty good. I feel like if you could get this, if you had vegan spam fried rice at a food truck in Austin at 2 a.m., this thing would kill. I think this would be pretty good. Who wants to know, Co, are you still using the heated gloves you reviewed a couple years back? My hands are so sensitive and no gloves seem to be warm enough for me. I still have those. I haven't busted them out yet. This year, I'm going to be testing out some snowboarders gloves. They're just so much bigger. They're just giant pads that are like on your hands. So I'm going to try that. The thing with the heated gloves is like, even those, I just felt like they weren't hot enough. So I was still using a hand warmer inside them on some of my like really cold winter runs. And I'm thinking even for these snowboarders gloves, I'll use the big old mittens with a hand warmer and a thin glove underneath. So that's kind of like what the plan is going to be. Just because, like you will, like my hands just get cold and stay cold. Like today, it was just really painful on the run. I couldn't get warm. So I had a hard time. It's a good reminder that I still have those, though. Maybe I'll bring those. It's supposed to be really cold in Iowa, or everywhere in the U.S., I think, on Christmas Day. Today on the local news, they were like busting out their graphics. They're getting ready, listing out the coldest Christmases on record. And they said in 1996 was the most recent cold Christmas in Chicago. And they said it was 9 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm like, well, okay, a high of 9 is pretty low for Christmas Day. You don't get to that kind of temperature for like another month. But like I think that the low for Christmas morning, at least here in Crystal Lake. I looked at. I mean, I don't know what it is right now, but the last time I looked at it, the low is supposed to be like -8 Fahrenheit. That's cold. That's really cold. So that's going to be a heated glove and hand warmer kind of day. Frank says the word spam already suggests that it isn't really meat. This is something that isn't really meat. That's true. That's true. But you know what? I'm going to eat all this fried rice. That's going to be good. And then this other block of it that I have here, I'm going to slice that up and fry it up and turn it into egg sandwiches. I'll see if my wife wants to try it. I don't know if I can get her to eat it. Because I don't know. She's a texture eater, so like certain textures just freak her out. And I feel like this would be one of those that she will not enjoy. But she does like a good egg sandwich, so. Simon says, I have lunch for the week? I got lunch for today and then like an afternoon snack. I didn't make that much. I used 1 can. I did a little bit more than a cup of dried rice and then a bag of frozen vegetables. So if I make fried rice for dinner, that's like that amount of volume of food is what my wife and I only eat. And I usually eat most of it. So that's not going to last me too long because I didn't make a ton. Maybe I'll make a ton next time. CV76 wants to know if there's an expiration date on these. That's a good question because I was like, you know what? I bought 4 cans of this stuff. I used 2 today. Those other 2 I'm saving for the next time a pandemic hits. What do you guys think the expiration date is on it? Time to guess. You can guess. The month is February for the expiration date. Today's date, I don't know when this was made. It doesn't tell me when it was made. But today's date is what? December 19th, 2022. How long do you think this is supposed to last? More of the things till the year 10,000. Luke Klein says, what did it say? Lou said 2056. Eliza said 2026. JC says 2035. Thomas Wen says 2026, so 4 years. New Betcha says 7 years. Michael Haney says 2027. Martha coming in with 1492. Dominic thinks it's only going to last 2 years. Terry thinks that the expiration date was February 2011. That's the best guess, I think. The correct answer, Lou number 6 had it. I think a couple other people had it too. 2025. This thing is best before date of, can you see it? Yeah, February 2025. That's surprisingly short. I'm going to have to eat this. Hopefully, I'll be eating this before the next pandemic hits. Next time we have to lock down and bunker down again. I don't know. So, I don't know. I kind of really like it. You know what else I'm going to put it in? I'm going to put it in some kimbap. Do some little like sushi hand roll kind of things. I think it'll be really good in there. The texture, I think, will be real nice. I don't make like a lot of Korean food, or I guess even in this like Asian style of food, or Asian American style of food very much. One thing I do make for my daughter to eat that she likes, it's more American than it is Asian food though, is I'll make her little kimbaps, little like sushi rolls, or Korean style of them, with rice, cream cheese, and turkey bacon. She calls it Korean sushi, and I'm like, don't call it that to other people. Like when Harmony comes, or like when my mom comes, please don't say that's Korean sushi. But she asked for that for lunch the other day, and I was like, I don't know if we have enough turkey bacon for that. But that's something she likes to do. When I used to eat bacon, I would just do like rice, cream cheese, like tomatoes, and like regular bacon, like real crispy. That used to be pretty good. Dominic says, oh wow, sometimes those vegan meat products have surprisingly short shelf lives. Maybe it's all the palm olein. Someone said what that was. Let me go back up. I don't know. Where'd it go? Someone said something about what the Olean is. I don't know. I'm sure it's not good for you. All right, some of you guys are talking about some shoes. Today I put out the top 5 daily trainers that I enjoyed for 2022. I think some of you guys are talking about the Mach 5 over here. Yeah, Kurt and Adam are going back about it. Kurt's saying that the Mach 5s are great. The update with the Porofly Plus was a welcome update. Really increases softness while still providing some good response. Yeah, I would agree with that. But it's crazy that a shoe like the Mach 5, which would have been like a shoe of the year 2 years ago, is only on my list number 4. But I also think there's just a lot of good shoes out on the market right now. So I feel like that's pretty good. Good for us. All right. Let's scroll to the bottom. Oh, Kurt says, it was me. Palm olein is like palm oil with an increased amount of oleic acid, high percent of monounsaturated fatty acid. This reminds me, I had a feeling that's what it was. Kind of like, what was it called? There was a product that came out for a very short amount of time in the 90s called Olean, based off an Olistera product. I think they're similar. I think like with the prefix of the OL, I think it's similar with the high percent of monounsaturated fatty acids. And it hit the market for a little while, but then people like they were using it to fry potato chips and something like that, and say like a healthier potato chip. But they realized that with the Olistera product, if you consumed it in really large amounts, it wreaked havoc on. You would have to make a lot of visits to the cornfield, so to speak. And so like it was on the market for a short time in the 90s as like a way of having healthier snack foods. But it's also a product, Olean and Olistera was a product that was like, Thomas Wentz says, I think Olean is a plant fat product for Olestra. So I think this is all I think we're all talking about like similar family of things. I used to make a bunch of recipes. My wife had a recipe called the Western Dubuque Marching Band High School Cookbook. Western Dubuque High School Marching Band Cookbook. My wife was in marching band. She swears all the cool kids were in her high school. Her siblings also were in marching band, and they all say the same thing, but I feel like that's a skewed sample set. But anyway, they used to sell these like cookbooks where like everyone's mom would like submit a couple recipes, and they put together this cookbook. They get it printed out at the local printer, and they sell them, and it'd be like that fundraiser. And I had this like 20-something-year-old cookbook, and I'm looking through it, and I'm like, some of these recipes are old recipes. One that there used to be an entire section of cooking with Olean or Olestra. And I was like, oh boy, this cookbook is not aging well. And there was another one that was in there and a recipe called Dubuque ham. Now, Dubuque ham, there used to be a pork cannery in Dubuque, Iowa, the nearest like big city for where my in-laws live. My brother-in-law used to, no, I think it was a Hormel plant by that point. Anyway, did Hormel own Dubuque ham? I'm not sure. Either way. So there used to be this thing called Dubuque hams. And do you guys know, like in Christmas to the Cranks, she's trying to get that special ham at the grocery store, and it comes in the big tin, and it looks like an egg-shaped tin, but it's not round all the way around, but it's like oval. So there used to be a product called Dubuque hams, and you would get it. And the recipe for this Dubuque ham in the Western Dubuque High School Marching Band Cookbook was you would take a can opener, not like a can opener that like you spin open, but the kind that you punch, like when you would get like old cans of Hawaiian punch. You'd punch holes in it and then start pouring your ingredients in the holes, leaving the can intact with the gelatinous ham inside. And you'd be like maple syrup and like brown sugar and all the sorts of stuff that you would put in there. And I'm like, we got to do this. And so the only place I could find the Dubuque ham, I think, was in Iowa. And I was able to find one like at the local, I don't think it was at the Walmart. I think it was at the local grocery store, the Fairway or something like that. This was years ago. And I made it, and like I punched holes in it, and poured all the ingredients through the little holes, and I cooked the ham inside the tin, and I opened it up, and it had like exploded because of the heat and the pressure and the steam vapor. I guess I didn't punch enough holes. And so it had just like kind of like just completely obliterated the ham from the inside out. It kind of looked like when they do ballistics tests and like it's all just shredded on the inside. That's what it looked like. Oh, man. Yeah. So a lot of memories coming back, just things that are just coming to mind just because of this can of unmeat. Sean says, anal leakage, if I recall, was on packaging warning. That is true. That is true. You know what's also interesting is like something that people don't talk about. As far as I know, sodium like bicarb is sometimes in a lot of products. Like it's in a lot of Unived products too, but I'm starting to see more and more recovery shakes and also gels having bicarb. And they're saying like it's supposed to really help with blood pH when you've got a lot of lactic acid in the system and all that stuff. When I've dug deeper into that, and I've tried those Unived gels and the recovery drinks, and they work. And I don't think it's because of the bicarb, but there's a lot of bicarb in there. And they say that like the only time bicarb actually could have a pH lowering effect that'd be beneficial towards any sort of athletic performance, there was a high likelihood that you would have just like explosive diarrhea as well. And it only worked for sprinters. So I was like, I don't know why we keep putting this stuff into these recovery products for marathoners, but oh well. All right. All right. Nicholas Holland, I think, talking about some running, trying to actually make us talk about running today. You know, Bernard says, oh, Nicholas Holland. No, here we go. Here's Nicholas. Nicholas Holland says, interestingly enough, I use one daily trainer a year. In high school training for the longest, a 5K down to an 800 meter for track, I prefer speed shoes. You have to be able to pick up the pace and go sub 5. Yeah. So you know what? I think, Nicholas, for people like you, where like in high school, I mean, I think high school cross country is very different than it was back in the 90s when I was running it. But I remember the longest runs we ever did was like maybe 8 miles. Maybe 10 was like the longest I'd ever run in high school at one go. You know what I mean? And so like, but we would spend a lot of time on the track, which I think makes sense for younger athletes. I think just things that younger athletes respond to might be different than what a 40-something-year-old athlete responds to. But also the distance is different. You guys are racing 5Ks. I don't really race 5Ks. But that's why I think that like the Nike trainers are the way they are. Who was I listening to where they were like the Nike trainers are oh yeah, it was that same Matt Chittum Rambling Runner episode of Unpopular Opinions. One of his unpopular opinions is like the Nike trainers are all bad. And my first like reaction is to agree with him, but I think that like the Pegasus is not designed for marathoners to use regularly. I think the Pegasus is for people that are running shorter distances to use more regularly, and it's geared for that. So not that the Pegasus is a speed shoe, but I know what you mean. Different runners need different things. And like for me, I wouldn't be able to get through the year with one daily trainer. That would be weird. I would end up probably hurting myself. I'd be unhappy with it. But it just depends on the way people run. But you probably go through many speed shoes. And you probably also own spikes, which I really don't have that many of spikes. Frank, you guys are just backing me up. I agree with this. Frank says, all the cool kids were in marching band is not a true statement. I agree. I'm going to tell my wife. She's going to be like, I'm going to be like, you know what? The live stream turned on you today. They do not believe you and your siblings. Martha says, I was in marching band and I was very uncool. A nerd escaping PE at all costs because I was convinced I was athletically challenged. Now she's having the last laugh. There you go. There you go, Martha. Andrew bringing the opposite perspective. So marching band is, or at least was, legit in my town. More than 50% varsity football team and more than 75% of the basketball teams were also in band, myself included. Small towns equals talented kids are in everything. Well, I will give you that. And that is a very similar argument that my wife and each of her siblings have given me. So I think that ultimately, I think you're right. I think that what it is that like, I think it's like kids are talented. Kids are sponges. They could pick up lots of things and do lots of things well very quickly. And some schools afford kids to have more opportunities to shine in different ways, which I think is really cool. So yeah. So I don't know though. I don't know. I hear what you're saying, Andrew, but I'm not convinced. Yeah. All right, let me scroll down a little bit more. Shannon says, cool is a state of mind, and I was not cool, not athletic, or musically inclined. Needless to say, high school was hard. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm going to go out on a limb here and say for most of the people in this live stream, high school was an awkward at best experience. I mean, remember how weird all the distance runners were? I'm not saying like cross country was a cool place to be. You know what I mean? The weirdest kids in school were on the cross country team. Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not going around saying that all the coolest kids were in cross country. And it says, I've only seen marching bands in films. They don't look very cool to me. Well, you know what, though? What's the movie with Orlando Jones in it? The guy from the Sprite commercials. There's two of them. Drumline. Those movies would make it look real cool, I will say. My wife, she did get, and she was a saxophone player, and her marching band got invited to go march during Bill Clinton's inauguration parade. That's how old we are. And so she always felt like that's like a little feather in her cap because she was a saxophonist. Bill Clinton was a saxophonist, so she thought that was really cool. You know? So that's fun. And then, Martha says, look how wonderful we all turned out. See, I feel like, yeah, I feel like, generally, like if I will say that people that that were good at high school are like I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I'm going to say the people that were good at high school are probably not people that I'm like hanging out with on the weekends these days. Not that I hang out with people on the weekends, but you know what I mean, right? So I just think that there's a correlation with people that peaked at high school. Not to say that they peaked, but that people were good at high school versus people that kind of peak later. There's a correlation, I think. Nicholas says, I self-identify as a cross-country weirdo. People always think we're a psycho running at least 5 miles a day. Not everyone understands the love of running. I hear you, man. It's something I think about a lot. I've been thinking about, especially spending more time with Drew and like thinking about his audience of people that are getting into running for the first time, or maybe they always ran but never were considered themselves runners. Like there's a lot of people out there that I think could really benefit from how good running makes you feel. And like how do you reach that person? I feel like you can't like go out to them, they have to come to you. But how? I think about that a lot. CV76 is proud that my daughter made first year clarinet in her 6th grade band. Oh, that's awesome news. Yeah, that's the right button. I wasn't sure I was going to hit the right button. That's good news. That's awesome. My daughter, met with the band teacher, and we didn't go to we weren't around for the summer band meeting, so we were kind of late on stuff. And so we even missed the entire fall because the band teacher is just not that responsive on email. It seems to be the consensus. But my daughter went and like tried a bunch of instruments one day, and they were like, "What are you into?" And so my daughter tried a bunch of stuff, and the teacher emailed us back and was like, "Percussion is what I recommend for your daughter." So I think we're gonna get a drum set down here, and my wife's like, "We're putting that in the basement by you." I'm like, "Oh, great!" But I'm kind of excited for a drum set. I think it'll be fun. Dominic says, "Thank God I spent my entire high school time playing video games so I could save peaking for later in life." I also spent a lot of time in high school playing video games. Sean says, cross country was always great. We were all the kids that got cut from other sports. It was like Hufflepuff for fall sports. Even the reference is perfect. Oh, my goodness. Martha says, Kobe, sure she wears ear protection. That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that. We got to make sure. I'm kind of like, oh, maybe the band teacher like sent my wife like a couple of links for recommended sets, and I'm like, oh, I hope they're just not the actual drums and just the collection of pads, because that'll be quieter. Yeah, Dad Ronald says, parent tip: get an electric drum. They have volume control and headphones. See, that's what I'm thinking about, but we'll see. Dad Ronald, I think I had a running question. Here we go. He says, is the Fuel Cell Rebel 3 a good daily trainer for a mid-foot striker? I'm in the 1080 and mores now, looking to replace the Speed 1s. Yeah, I think so. It doesn't, it's like the kind of like the Gore-Tex jacket. It doesn't feel like there's enough there, but yeah, it is a good daily trainer for the mid-foot striker and the forefoot striker. I feel like it has a very mild drop. I don't remember what the actual listed number is, but it feels like it's pretty mild. So you're getting a consistent layer of foam all the way through, which I kind of like on that shoe. And to this extent you have drop, it just depends on how your foot's hitting the ground, is the main sensation I get from that shoe. But I do really like that one a lot. That's a good one. I like to have a little bit more cushion, but I wouldn't mind if they went even heavy. Well, not heavier, but thicker with the cushion next year. I haven't seen a Rebel 4 yet, but we'll see what they do. But I think for this year, the Rebel 3 is a really good one. That might be one of those shoes where I have to recommend people buy them up now, because I have a feeling they're going to change it. New Balance changed like everything for next year. Andrew says, I still spend too much time playing video games. That's why I try to just stay away from them. I get sucked in really easily. And so one of the things I've been doing is I'm going back to the Apple Watch a little bit more, just because I find myself getting sucked into things and like just losing time. And I've been spending a lot more time just scrolling on the phone. So I'm trying to do that less. And I feel like when I did that 30-day challenge with the Apple Watch, that really got me away from the phone a lot more and just like leaving it like plugged in somewhere or on a counter somewhere. And yeah, and really there's not anything in life that I need to be that. It's because like my job isn't like what it was before, where I would have to respond to emergencies really quick. So, you know, I got to just get on the phone less. You know, too much screen time. Matt says, I learned I can't do video games because I lost about 2 weeks of my life to Duke Nukem in about 1995. I lost my entire sophomore year of college to GoldenEye. And I forget what year of NCAA football it was, but those two games, there's a lot of games. That and like Super Puzzle Fighter 2. Has anyone ever played that game? Like, I was obsessed with that game. That was just so good. That was my entire year of college just gone. That and a lot of drinking beers, and I also worked. I was a waiter at the time too, so I was doing stuff. But you know, I guess that was my own way of kind of like figuring some stuff out. You know, I don't know. Matt says, "Oh, GoldenEye was so good." Every time, you know, I spend a lot of time. Here's one of the reasons why I end up spending so much time on Instagram Reels. A lot of times I'll scroll through, and I've been training my algorithm to show me lots of different things from different genres, just to see how other people are making exciting content. And I'll pull the audio from all those because you can just like hit it in the right hand corner and then save audio. And then you have like a list of other audios you might want to use. Frequently, like people will like remix like the GoldenEye, like the pause music. And it's just so good. It was just so good. Yeah, Matthew Ackrenner says Goldeneye with the N64 controller with the trigger was amazing. Man, me and my sweet mates, there was more than 4 of us there, but there was 4 of us that would always just sit on the couch, put 4 different views up, and we would just play forever. Oh my goodness, we played a lot. Jason Dahl says, waiting for them to release GoldenEye for the Nintendo Switch. I keep hearing rumors. I would get that. I even have to like watch myself because my daughter bought Mario Kart last year, or she might have got it for Christmas or something, and I was like, I gotta put this down. This is too much. General says, I'm scared. I'm buying a PS5 and Call of Duty today. Pray for me. All right, Al. We'll check in. If we don't see you for a couple of days, we'll check it. We'll send someone over to knock on the door. Do a wellness check. Shannon says, cool reel with the white shoe that flashes, sends the clips when the music beats fast. You're the best marketer. The A6 one, which one was it? That's annoying because I can't tell you which one it is. I think I could tell you that it releases February 1st, which feels like a lifetime away, and it kind of is. But if you think about it, it's like 5 weeks from now. But yeah, right now it's just unnamed. And I love it because it doesn't even have an ASICS logo on it. Like, it's just a white upper with no logo at all. Here's the thing. I had a conversation with Robbie on DM about it yesterday, about that mystery. It's not hard to figure out what it is. A lot of people have already figured it out. But what that mystery ASICS shoe is, and apparently they're not going to release it in the all white, like the blank that I have. And Robbie and I were like, I can't believe they're not going to do that. That's a mistake. And I'm like, you know what? I keep telling ASICS, like, all right, we keep seeing all these white prototype Metaspeeds, like white prototype, like the cream colored midsole FF Turbo. Cause I don't think that you can get that thing in white. I think the FF Turbo comes in that, like it just is a little bit colored. Although I think you can color it a little bit. No, I think they can paint it, but I don't know. But anyway, whatever color it is, like the white upper, like the white-ish midsole, and then the black outsole, it just looks so good. I'm like, when are they going to release a proto version of the Metaspeed? And they're like, oh, we're trying. And I told Robbie, my theory is that ASICS America wants all this stuff, but then like ASICS Global is like, I don't know, that seems kind of flashy. That's my theory. I don't know. I have no idea. I suppose I could ask, but I don't know that they would comment on that. But yeah. Martha says, a guy at the CIM Expo pretty much told me without telling me, it's going to be greatly improved. He said, you will like it. I won't mention his name either. Yeah, I mean, I think it's good. I ran in it the other day, like 2 days ago, I think it was now. And it's good. It is, I think it could be better, but it still has a tiny bit of gel in it. So I don't think I'm supposed to say that, but anyway, it does have some gel in it. So, but I like it. And I think of the series that this belongs a part of, it's the best one they've made. I think I can say that. I don't know, I'm saying too much, so I'm just going to eat something. New Veteran wants to know, where do those Greg Itahara customs from TRE end up? So I think there was a pair of shoes that he was drawing. Again, there was 2 pairs of shoes. I didn't realize this, that he was drawing on during the convention. One was the one with like the blue and yellow and the big tiger on it. It was like blue and yellow clouds with a tiger, like riding a cloud, kind of like a Paracupa trooper. Anyway, that one, I don't know where that one is, and that's made off of the white shoe. The other one made off the white shoe, one is a Emma Bates custom and one is a Sarah Hall custom. one of each of the one with the appropriate name is going to the appropriate person. So Emma Bates is getting one of those. Sarah Hall is getting one of those. And then the other 3, I don't know where they went. I don't know where they're going. Or the other 4, I guess. I don't know where they're going. Mine are at home. They did get really beat up at the Brooks after party because it rained. And then, like, you know, you're at an outdoor party. And they got all scuffed up. And then they were wet, and I put them right into a suitcase, I think, and then they got all smushed. So mine did not travel well. But the ones he made for Asics, I don't know where they are. I'll ask Greg. I don't think he's here today. Lou Boy says, "Cope. I moved to Lakeview and run on the lakefront daily. Awesome, I'm jealous. Wanted something grippy and waterproof for the next few months. Is there a shoe you'd recommend?" Right now, I like the, I just bought a pair of the Nike Peg Trail 4 Gore-Tex. Last year along the lakefront, Peg Trail 3 Gore-Tex treated me really well. So, like, keeps a lot of the slush out because it's got that, like, mock fake gator on it. So I kept a lot of the slush out, kept the ice from getting inside. Sometimes ice would still kind of collect on the shoe because it'd be cold enough, but a lot of that slush stays out. This year, I think Hoka's supposed to be sending it to me. Sometimes it takes them this is why I just buy shoes a lot of times. They sent me an email like 2 weeks ago saying they'd send it, and I don't have it yet. But the Challenger 7 is coming in a Gore-Tex. I showed some pictures of it in the TRE video. That shoe, I don't think it comes out for a little while, though. I don't think that comes out. I don't think it's out now. The Challenger 7's out, but the Challenger 7 Gore-Tex isn't out for a little while. I'm going to be trying that. I feel like the Speedgoat 5 Gore-Tex, I think that comes out soon, if not now, next month, I think. No, wait, January or February, I want to say. Seems like a little bit late to me, but I'm guessing it's a supply chain issue. But, so those would be some good ones too. I usually like to go with a trail shoe when it's nasty on the lakefront, and with Gore-Tex. That being said, a lot of the lakefront path does get plowed and salted. So, like, it won't be terribly bad, except where there's that stretch, like by the Oak Street curve, right there where they lost the salt truck one year. They just leave that. They abandon it. And actually, a lot of times, from Oak Street all the way down to Ohio Street, they don't plow and salt that. But before that, south of that and north of that is plowed and salted. So you don't have to worry too much about it. But depending on how close you are to the lakefront, you might have to run through some, like, you know, not everyone shovels their walks like they're supposed to and stuff like that. So, you know, you might need something else. All right. Nicholas says, "I know you've run in the Vaporfly Co., but does it surprise you that the Vaporfly 2 is a track favorite of high school athletes?" No, it doesn't, because one, you can run very fast in it, and a lot of people do like to, even pros like to wear it for their workouts on the track if they're not going to actually spike up. And as far as I know, in high school, they don't care what shoes you wear. So I don't know if people are wearing it for racing in their high school races, you know, but I could usually see people doing it. And especially because it's a Nike product, I could see why a lot of kids are choosing it in the high school ranks. I'm surprised, and I'm like, I wonder why they're not reading for, like, the Dragonfly or the Vapor, like the Viperflies. But I'm guessing, like, those are a little bit more specific and harder to run in. The Vaporflies are so accessible, like anyone can run in them. And most people will perceive a benefit from them too. So it doesn't surprise me that much. And it does have that a little bit of a lower plate position. And so the turnover is nice and snappy, like relative to the Alpha Fly, for example. So I'm not that surprised. But if you told me that, like, like in the 800 meters, like, 3/4 of the kids are racing in Vaporfly Next Percent 2s, that I think I would be surprised by. But if I was like, yeah, when you go to on, like, Workout Wednesdays, people are ripping their 400 meter repeats in the Vaporflies, I'd be like, yeah, not surprised by that. So that's interesting, though. Nicholas says, "I've never run in them, but so many of my teammates love them. Found a pair at an outlet for $100, and I'm getting them for Christmas. So excited. Awesome. Hope you really enjoyed them. Um, you know, I was thinking about the Vaporfly Next Percents again in the context, because recently the last time I talked about them was um, when we talked about the Super Blast, and it's $220 an acceptable price for that, which I think we all agree it's a little high. But I'm like, if you look at Nike, they've got $275 for Alphaflies, I think $275 for brand new Vaporflies too, or is it $250? I don't know. They go back and forth. I think it depends on how pissed off people are at the moment. But you got those. And then you have the ones that are on sale. Sometimes they're like $200. Then you have some that are like $175. Sometimes they're like as low as $126 or some sort of other weird number like that, depending on like how many are left at whatever colors. And I just started reading or listening to on audiobook Jim Weber's book. I forget the title, but he's the CEO of Brooks. And he's had a long history of being like president or CIO of a variety, or working at a lot of big brands, and his passion is building brands. And he was talking about one of the things he learned at Pillsbury, of all places, was that you have to build your product moat, which is not an idea that I was that comfortable with. He's like, so for example, like he said in Pillsbury, they had developed a lot of technology that they could continue making their canisters of biscuits in a very cost-effective way at scale. So they had a lot of technology, not necessarily in the food itself, but in like the creation of the food. And that made it hard for competitors to just copy the product. So they had like their own like kind of sort of barriers for copying. But Pillsbury didn't have that for things like the toaster strudel. And what was the other one that they mentioned? I forget. Because the toaster strudel was a great idea, but they didn't have that same product moat around it. So then Pop-Tarts hit the scene and they got killed. And I was like, oh, that's what Nike's doing with their shoes. That's why they still make so many Vaporflies, and then some of them are cheap. So that way you have that entire like kind of like Apple style pricing strategy. That's their product moat. Because now it used to be their product moat was no one has P-backs, or no one has a carbon plated shoe that's as good as a Vaporfly 4%. Now everyone has a shoe that is not the same as a 4%, but can serve a similar purpose for people. So there are viable alternatives that are out there. So how do you then keep yourself differentiated? And they're doing it with their pricing strategy. They have their expensive ones, brand new colors, brand new model, full retail price. And then they're protecting themselves because they have these other ones that they could probably produce at scale, or maybe have bought a bunch of inventory and have been sitting on. And instead of like liquidating the inventory or whatever it is, I don't know exactly what the business mechanics of it are, but they have these others that are available at 126 or 150. And even if they're not really even available to that many other people, unless you're a size 6 or a size 13, it puts in your mind like, well, I can get race shoes for 150. Why would I pay 220? Why would I pay 200 for the competitors when I can get the real one, quote unquote, at 150? So I'd be like, oh, see, price. The people that are in pricing are freaking geniuses of the business world. That's why everyone's like, is this worth it? I'm like, you're asking me a pricing question? It's the most difficult kind of question to answer. You know? You know. Terry says, I used to think 225 pounds was a lot for shoes until I saw the price of fashion shoes like Jimmy Choo and Louis Vuitton. Those boys are ripping people off. Yeah. Now that's getting expensive. You can't even run fast in those. Nicholas says, for the high school kids, most guys will race in their Dragonflies or Victories. Some of them are in Vaporflies. All right, that makes a little bit more sense. That's a little bit more what I would expect, but it's good to get some intel from the ground level. Thanks, Nicholas. Maddie Mac says, missed most of today's stream today, but want to say hi. Have a great week all. Let's do a couple more. I just got so caught up chatting with you guys and eating my vegan spam. Yeah, Dominic says, you can find most Nike products at 20 to 30% off basically all the time, though. Nobody's paying $275 for Vaporflies. I will disagree with that. I'm usually the one paying the full price when it comes to those shoes. And I know people like Thomas and Megan and a lot of people. They're like, they want the new one. And sometimes the new one's the only one you can get, because a lot of times the new race shoes are the only ones that are available in regular sizes. So I do think a lot of people are, and that's their strategy. That's what keeps people in the Nike ecosystem, I think. Mika says, I bought 2 pairs of Vaporflies in last Christmas's sales. I ran once in the other pair and haven't even tried the other ones on. All these offers just keep building my stockpiles up. I mean, I feel like that's one area where I feel like an 18-month or a 24-month product cycle makes a lot of sense. If you have like a killer product and you want to just defend it, in the face of other competition. It's an interesting idea. And I know we were just talking about Ultra moving to a 2-year product cycle. And I thought about like the 1080 version 10, a new one, the version 11 didn't come out for like almost 20 months, That I think is for different reasons. That I think they've told me that is like they just got caught flat-footed and they didn't think it was going to be that popular. And I think they were on a 20 or 2-year product cycle and they were just like, we got to hurry this up, and they couldn't get it any faster. Stevie76, Trivia Tuesday pricing? No, that'd be like the Kofuzi Run Club final exam. Not a trivia. That's like the final exam. Is it worth it? Yeah, that's a tough. I mean, I just remember like pricing was like the most difficult class in B school. Not that that's hard, I guess, depending on your perspective. But anyway, I don't want to knock the business guys that much, because they can outwit me any day, Yeah. Frank says, Nike sells lots of $250 Vaporflies in September and October. They sure do. Yeah. Luke Lane says, I didn't know we were getting tested on this. You guys haven't been taking notes? Oh my goodness. Are we going to have like a study hall session when I go over the outline for the course? Oh man. All right. That's going to be it for today, guys. Oh, we had a long one. The time just flew by. I had so much fun with you guys. Thank you so much. I don't know if we'll have one tomorrow. I think tomorrow we're traveling to Iowa. I'm not sure. No one's packed yet, so we might still have a live stream tomorrow, but I might be on the road. I'll let you guys know early on if that changes, but hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm going to be cranking out more top 5 videos to kind of get through like this week. I thought about spacing them out long, but I mean, like, I don't want this to be like a 2-week ordeal. So I think I'm going to try to do one every day, different top 5 category, and that'll take us through this week. So you'll see another video from me, and hopefully I'll see you again soon on another live stream, whether it's in Crystal Lake or in New Vienna. But either way, till the next time I see you guys, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.